Summary of He's Not My Type, written by Meghan Quinn. Chapter 1. Days turned into weeks, and the once awkward living arrangement between Halsey and Blakely began to evolve into something unexpectedly comfortable. The apartment, once a solitary space where Halsey found solace in his carefully crafted routine, now echoed with laughter and the subtle rhythms of two lives intertwining. Sherman, Halsey's bonsai tree, seemed to thrive on the positive energy radiating through the apartment. Blakely took an interest in caring for Sherman, gently spritzing him with water and ensuring he received just the right amount of sunlight. It became their shared responsibility, a tiny green symbol of their growing connection. One evening, as they sat on the couch watching a hockey game, Halsey realized how much he had underestimated the impact of Blakely's presence. Her genuine laughter filled the room, and her enthusiasm for the game surprised him. They exchanged playful banter about the players, and Halsey found himself enjoying the game in a way he hadn't before. Posey, who had been monitoring the situation with a mischievous grin from the sidelines, couldn't resist pointing out his apparent victory. "I told you, Halsey. The love train is pulling into the station, and you're on board whether you like it or not," Posey declared with a triumphant smile. Halsey rolled his eyes. "It's not a love train, Posey. We're just friends. Besides, we're both busy with our own lives." But Posey wasn't one to let facts get in the way of a good narrative. He continued to drop not-so-subtle hints and playful comments, all aimed at pushing Halsey and Blakely closer together. Despite Halsey's protests, Posey seemed convinced that he was the puppet master of their budding romance. One weekend, the team organized a charity event, and Halsey and Blakely found themselves attending together. The evening was filled with music, laughter, and the clinking of glasses as they mingled with teammates and fans. Halsey noticed the genuine warmth in Blakely's interactions with others, and he felt a sense of pride knowing that she was becoming a part of his world. As they danced under the twinkling lights, Halsey couldn't deny the growing attraction he felt toward Blakely. The music seemed to slow down, and for a moment, it was just the two of them in a world of their own. Posey, who had been orchestrating the evening with a subtle hand, discreetly winked at Halsey from across the dance floor. The night ended with a shared cab ride back to the apartment, and as Halsey unlocked the door, he couldn't ignore the palpable tension between them. Blakely looked up at him, her eyes reflecting a mix of uncertainty and something more profound. "Thanks for tonight, Halsey." "I had a great time," she said, breaking the silence. "Yeah, me too," he replied, his heart pounding in his chest. As they stood in the doorway, an unspoken question lingered in the air. Posey's voice echoed in Halsey's mind, urging him to take the next step. Before he could overthink it, he blurted out, "Would you like to go out for dinner sometime? Just the two of us." Blakely's eyes widened in surprise, but a genuine smile played on her lips. "I'd love that, Halsey." And just like that, the uncharted territory of dating unfolded before them. Halsey felt a mix of excitement and nervousness, realizing that Posey might have been onto something after all. As Blakely walked to her room, Halsey couldn't help but feel a renewed sense of hope, and maybe, just maybe, this unexpected journey would lead to something beautiful. In the following weeks, their casual dinner turned into movie nights, long walks, and shared dreams. Blakely's presence became a source of comfort for Halsey, and he found himself opening up in ways he never thought possible. Their connection went beyond the superficial, transcending the boundaries of friendship. One evening, as they sat on the rooftop, gazing at the city lights, Halsey found himself caught in a moment of vulnerability. The weight of his past, the struggles he faced, spilled out into the open. Blakely listened with empathy, offering a silent understanding that touched Halsey's soul. "I never expected this, you know," Halsey confessed, his gaze fixed on the horizon. Blakely turned toward him, her eyes reflecting a mixture of compassion and affection. "Sometimes, the best things come when you least expect them." Halsey couldn't agree more. The journey that started with a reluctant offer of a spare room had blossomed into a profound connection. Blakely had become more than just a roommate or a friend, she had become a pivotal part of Halsey's life. As the season progressed, Halsey and Blakely navigated the challenges of balancing their personal lives with the demands of a professional hockey career. The locker room banter continued, but now it was accompanied by knowing glances and supportive nods from teammates who had witnessed the evolution of their relationship. In the quiet moments, when Sherman stood as a silent witness to their shared experiences, Halsey realized that sometimes, life had a way of surprising you. Posey's meddling, once seen as an intrusion, had led to a love story that neither Halsey nor Blakely could have anticipated. And so, in the midst of hockey games, laughter-filled evenings, and stolen glances, Halsey and Blakely found themselves on a journey of love, a journey that started with an unexpected invitation and led to a destination neither of them could have predicted. Chapter 2. Blakely's apartment buzzes with tension as she walks in, holding 2 pints of ice cream like peace offerings. Penny, her best friend, shoots her a stern look, and Blakely, attempting to lighten the mood, declares, "Surprise," while plastering a smile on her face. Penny doesn't reciprocate the cheerfulness. Instead, she stares Blakely down and deadpans, "I'm not happy with you." With that, she turns around and heads into her apartment, Blakely trailing behind, feeling the weight of her friend's disappointment. The cause of Penny's frustration becomes apparent as she takes a seat on the couch, arms folded, still staring Blakely down. Blakely lets out a nervous laugh, breaking the uneasy silence. "Is Holden asleep?" she asks, referring to Penny's baby. "What do you think?" Penny retorts. "I'm going to assume yes. Such a shame he doesn't get to see the she-beast his mother turned into tonight." "She-beast?" Penny raises an eyebrow as Blakely offers her a pint of mint chocolate chip ice cream. Penny swats it away and grabs Blakely's pretzel caramel. The one she had been looking forward to. "You're lucky I didn't kick you right in the crotch when I opened the door." Blakely chuckles nervously. "A kick to the crotch seems a bit extreme for the circumstances, don't you think?" "No," Penny says firmly. "I had to hear from my fiancé." "Fiancé, technically," Blakely interjects, a move that only seems to worsen Penny's mood. "I had to hear from him that my best friend broke up with her boyfriend that she's known since college." "How do you think that makes me feel?" "Sad?" Blakely ventures, wincing. "Pissed," Penny replies. "Ah yes, I can sense the anger." "Blakely, stop joking around. This is serious." She leaves her ice cream untouched, a potential act of protest. "Are we not close anymore? I know I had a baby, but I feel like I've still been a good friend. Am I not there for you like you need me to be?" Blakely, now realizing the depth of Penny's hurt, stammers, "What? No, that's not it." She sighs and leaves her ice cream unopened as well. "I didn't tell anyone. I think I'm still trying to make sense of it all. I loved him. And I thought we were going to get married, but then it just ended." Penny's expression softens, and she asks, "What happened?" Needing the comfort of ice cream, Blakely pops off the lid and takes a scoop. Penny follows suit, still waiting for an explanation. "Perry came home one day from work and told me he had exciting news." "What was it?" Penny asks, her curiosity piqued. "He got a new job, in Australia." "In Australia?" Penny's eyes widen. "Yeah, and he thought that was exciting." "Sorry, but I beg to differ. I mean, sure. Australia is amazing and beautiful, and I'd love to go there one day, really, for the kangaroos and backward flushing toilets." "You realize that's such a generalization. I mean, Australians probably think we're all really loud, turkey chasers, and only drive pickups." "Either way," Blakely continues, "I don't want to live there. My life is here. My job that I've worked so hard to land is here, and I love it. I love my job so freaking much." He just assumed that I wanted to go wherever he wanted to go. "He never talked to you about it?" Penny inquires. Her disbelief evident. Blakely shakes her head. "And that's where the miscommunication is. He didn't think I cared, and he wanted something new and different. I'm all for spontaneity, but I also like to be grounded with familiarity." I don't want to leave you and the baby and my other friends and the job. I like it here. Anyway. She hands Penny a spoon and takes a seat on the couch. We got into a big fight. He said if I truly loved him, I'd go anywhere to be with him, and I told him if he truly loved me, he wouldn't make assumptions about our life. That he would have talked about the possibility and asked me what I thought rather than searching for something else. It was a big blow-up, and he left that night. To Australia? Penny's eyes widen again. Blakely shakes her head. To a hotel. When he came back the next morning, he apologized for what he said. He'd thought about it and couldn't let this opportunity pass him by. I told him I couldn't let my career take a back seat to what he wanted, so we decided to break up. She shoves a spoonful of ice cream into her mouth, dissatisfied with the mint chocolate chip. What's baffled me most of all is the fact that I haven't felt absolutely ruined and devastated by this. We've been together for so many years. Why am I not a mess? Was I not passionately in love with Perry? I'm so sorry, Penny says, a genuine tone in her voice. Blakely shrugs. It is what it is. He left to go to Australia. I said bye and gave him a hug. He asked me if I was sure, and I nodded. I had to move out of our apartment because even though I loved it, I couldn't afford it on my own and the lease was up. Wait, so you moved too? Penny asks. Blakely nods. Yeah, to a new place, not far from here, but yesterday, I noticed water leaking down the wall. Apparently, it was from a clog in the dishwasher upstairs. Flooded my apartment, so now, I have to wait for them to fix it, which will take a couple of weeks. So where are you staying? Here? Penny asks with excitement. Blakely shakes her head. There is no way I'd stay here, not with Holden. It might be fun for a second, but after a few nights of hearing him cry, you might have to start nursing me too. Penny cringes. Don't say that. It's true. And before you say it, I also won't be staying with Ollie or Winnie. I know the kind of sex lives they have. I refuse to be a witness to that, especially when I'm nursing my wounds over here. So what are you going to do? Well, I'm staying in a hotel tonight, but tomorrow. I'll be moving into Halsey's place. Penny pauses, her spoon halfway to her mouth, confusion etched on her face. Halsey? As in? Halsey Holmes? Yeah, Blakely says, eating a scoop of ice cream while watching Penny process the information. What? How? Why? It all happened kind of fast, but I was attempting to grab Pacey for a VIP family, and it came up that I broke up with Perry and needed a place to stay. Posey said Halsey had an extra room, and I don't know, desperation hit me hard, so I asked him if he was okay with that. Was he? Penny asks, leaning forward in disbelief. Apparently, because he said I could stay there as long as I watered his bonsai tree. What's a bonsai tree? Some fancy little tree that lives in a pot. I looked it up during the game. They're kind of cute. Halsey named his Sherman. From what I could tell, he seems quite attached to it. Wait, I'm so confused. We're talking about the same guy, right? Halsey Holmes, Center for the Agitators? Yup, that's the guy. But, he barely talks. You've barely spoken to him. He's the least outgoing guy on the team, and he just so happened to offer you a place to stay? Blakely shrugs. Probably felt bad for me. Whatever. I'll take his pity. I bet he has a nice place. Plus, since they're in and out of town, I'll have his place to myself a few times, which will be nice. And what about the times when he's there? I guess I'll get to know him. And hey, it's only for a few weeks. I can nurse my wounds, wait for my apartment to be fixed, and enjoy whatever high-rise fancy apartment he's living in. It'll be nice. Will it? Or will it be awkward? Maybe a little awkward, but I can deal with that. Plus, who knows? Maybe I can help him come out of his shell. He's so guarded and quiet, so maybe he just needs a little bit of Blakely to liven him up. You realize that it's not just bringing someone out of his shell. He lost his twin brother in a car accident. Eli told me Halsey used to be really outgoing and fun, just like Holden. It's not his personality that's shy. Penny's voice turned softer. He's grieving, Blakely, and slightly broken. I don't think you should mess with that. My brow creases. I would never mess with that and the obvious pain he sits with every day, but I don't know, maybe it might be nice for him to have someone to talk to if he wants to talk. And if not, maybe the company will be nice for him. Either way, he said it was okay. Maybe he was just being nice. I quirk my mouth to the side in confusion. Do you not want me to live with him? I just want you to be careful. You're hurting, he's hurting. I think it could be a recipe for disaster. I'm fine, I say. Kind of. Maybe I'm still in shock. It's been so weird not seeing Perry each day. Perhaps I'm also still angry. Blindsided. If anything, I'm just slightly bitter, but the way I see it is if we were meant to be together, Perry would have never taken that job in Australia. Or I would have felt like I didn't have any other choice but to leave with him, and I didn't feel that. I felt like leaving here would have hurt more. So, yeah, it just wasn't meant to be. Well, I'm glad you have that mindset. I just want you to make sure you come to me if you feel differently. I think Halsey has a lot going on mentally, and I'm not sure he could handle your breakup. Oh, I wouldn't impose that on him, I say. We might be roommates soon, but I also don't think we're going to end up being that close. Okay. She places some ice cream in her mouth before shaking her head. I can't believe you said yes to his offer. I chuckle. You know me, I'm up for anything, other than moving to Australia on a whim. Apparently, you have your limits. And with that, the two friends sit in contemplative silence, their spoons slowly churning through the ice cream, each lost in their own thoughts about the twists and turns life has thrown at them.